Greetings, Commodores. We're looking at Act 1, Scene 3. We're going to start with question number 18. At this point in the play, how old is Juliet? When is her next birthday? And how old will she be? So we know that Juliet is 13 years old. We get this in lines 13 through 15. Her next birthday is in 2 weeks and odd days. At Lammas Eve, she will turn 14, and we see that in line 18. So she's almost 14 years old. She's still 13, which would still be considered a child on Shakespearean standards at the time of Shakespeare. Question number 19. How does the nurse feel about Juliet? What can you infer about the nurse's character from what she says and how she says it? So we need to look at lines 17 through 49. And we can see that the nurse thinks of Juliet as her own child. This is showed by the detailed memories of Juliet falling and hitting her head. And she has this fondness, this just love for Juliet, which she speaks of. And what we can infer about her character through what she says is that she's very kind of down to earth and a little rough around the edges, or what we would call coarse. And she has no trouble talking about personal details, and she has a good sense of humor. So we see this as she is retelling the story of her child that she lost, about her husband who has passed, and recalling the memories of Juliet. Question number 20. What inference can you make about Juliet's feelings towards the nurse, and how would you describe Juliet's attitude towards her mother? So Juliet appears to like the nurse, that they have this wonderful relationship, and she asks her to stop talking in a tone that is a little bit gentle and kind. Juliet's attitude towards her mother is a little bit removed. She's respectful to her mother's question about marriage, but she's not the kind of girl that's going to snuggle up to her mom and tell her all her intimate details about what is happening in her life. Question number 21. What is the comparison in the extended metaphor that's used in lines 80 through 95? And explain the features of Paris that Lady Capulet emphasizes in her comparison. What attribute is suggested in lines 94? In line 94, so shall you share all that he doth possess. Okay, so we need to look at what the dialogue is happening between Lady Capulet and the nurse. And so Lady Capulet is trying to emphasize that he's good looking. Compare him to a book. Look at him, turn through the pages, find what he's all about. It's similar to a writer putting their pen on the paper and writing about all of these things, that the pen's beauty and that his features lend content. She's suggesting that, there's more to Paris than what you see, surface value of him. You got to get to know him. And she says, and what obscured in this fair volume lines find written in the margin of his eyes. So the idea that, get to know him, talk to him. And the last thing that she's saying in line 94, so shall you share all that he doth possess. She's suggesting to Juliet that Paris is wealthy and he has higher status. He's Count Paris or County Paris. So she will have a title, and she will also have additional wealth in marrying Paris. Number 22. Explain Juliet's reply in these lines. What does Juliet's words reveal about her character? So in question number 22, we're looking at the idea that she agrees to look over Paris at the party to check him out, but she's going to wait for her mother's approval before she allows herself to become attracted to him. So these reveal that she's an obedient daughter that's trying to please her parents. Number 23. What puns are in these lines, in lines 11 through 22, and what do they reveal about Romeo's mood? So Romeo is using these puns, and he's using the word heavy to mean both sad and of great weight. He's using the word light to mean luminous and of little weight. And then in line 15, Romeo's puns comes from the pairing of soul, S-O-U-L, the spirit that remains within the body for the Christian, and souls, S-O-L-E-S, the soles of your feet, when explaining his unhappiness. And he also uses soar, S-O-R-E, as in pain, and then soar as to fly, S-O-A-R. And so these puns show that Romeo remains depressed, and he's trying to make light of the misery that he feels over this situation where the love is not returned. Question number 25. Explain where dreams come from according to Mercutio. So Mercutio goes on this rant, and he's talking about Queen Mab. And Queen Mab is this little fairy who is of British origin. And the people of Shakespeare's time would have been familiar with this. And so the queen comes and visits all these little different people of different occupations while they are sleeping and gives them dreams. So Mercutio is making fun of the dream that Romeo has. Question number 26. Do Mercutio's efforts to minimize the importance of Romeo's dream work? Why or why not? And what do lines 112 through 113 suggest about the reason Romeo goes to the party in spite of his feelings? Sorry. So they didn't work. Romeo's just looking at him like, okay, why are you rambling on? Because Romeo has this feeling, this foreboding feeling that something is going to happen. Something bad is going to happen in the future. And so he decides to go to the party because he's like, okay, I'm just going to allow my life to be in the hands of fate, and we'll see how things work out. And that is your review of Scene 4.